Hey guys, Bushcraft family, back again for another video. This being Wednesday, it's time for prep now. Yes, I know I had a prep now video I did yesterday. It was more of like an emergency type thing about what's going on. But today I wanted to go over some ready-made meals. They can be anything. A lot of times we think of ready-made meals is when we're talking about these things, MREs. You can actually get these online. They're about anywhere from $6 to $12 to $14 each. They're not too bad, unless you know somebody that's in the Army. They can get an extra one or two to you. Stuff like that. But before we get started with this, I want to know your guys's go-to ready to eat meals. Something that you can just pop open and eat. Now there's different types, but I want you guys to tell me what your ready to eat meals are. Post them in the comments and let me check them out. Never know, I might find something new that I want to add to my preps. Now, there's all kinds of these that you can get. A lot of times you get these microwavable jobs like this. Now, they are microwavable, but on a hot day, leave that in the sun, you got a hot meal. And there's different varieties of them. And like I always say, one thing that you want to look out for not to get are which will last a little bit longer than others. You want to stay away from the stuff that has tomatoes in it, because tomatoes are very acidic, so it's going to break down that container a lot faster. So you want to stay away from stuff that's high for that stuff. And things like this, it's got chicken Alfredo. It's not too bad. And again, I always seem to go for the chicken stuff. Chicken is very good for protein and whatnot, and it's less in fat and that kind of thing. There's also little things of packets like this that you can just tear open and just eat right there, put it on crackers, toast, or anything like that. There's also these things that you can get like this. These things are packed with a lot of energy and stuff. They're not too appealing because they're like hard as a brick, but you can eat them. They're pretty cheap. You can get them for $5 to $8 a piece. They can last you quite a bit. I like to keep these in a car or in my bug out bag or something like that. It's real, or my EDC, something very light that can hold me off for a few days. And then you have these things. These things are quite expensive. If you have some of these and things like that, it's something to look out for. Walmart has the tubs right now. If you look in their bulk section of the grocery store, normally those things were like $56, and I got a few of them. I probably should have brought some in here so you can see. It's a bucket full of things. It's supposed to keep a family fed for a family of 4 for 5 days, and right now they have them sitting there on sale for $20 a piece. So I bought, every time I go there, I buy a couple extra ones. Now you have to watch it because these things are very high in sodium to make them last a little bit longer and things like that. And those things are ready to eat meals, to where you just pop up, if you can warm up some water, even if you don't have a way of cooking it. If you have just a clear bottle, leave it in the sun, pour it in there. It takes a little bit longer for it to work, that it's not normally boiling water to pour in there. But if you just let it set there for extra amount of time, you can still eat that food. There's also these little flavored things I like to get that you can just put in water and let it soak also. Believe it or not, Pop Tarts. Now, these Pop Tarts have the flavored icing, and those things really have an awesome shelf life. They're not too appealing or anything. I can't stand them, but if I had to eat them, I would. These things can last in a package for like 5 to 6 years. It's better to get the ones that don't have the icing on the outside. I know it less flavor and everything, but that stuff breaks down and just falls off. And yeah, if you're going to store those, if you want to store those for a long period of time, I would suggest putting them in a freezer and then vacuum seal the bag, stuff like that. But for those, I wouldn't even worry about it. I just let them be. They're going to taste like crap anyway, but it's something that you could have ready to go. Boom. Ready to go meal. And like I said, there's all kinds of other things. You have your canned stuff that you can pop open, just eat straight out of the can. If you have a way of cooking, there's always the Spam. I know I did a video on canned meats and stuff, but I'm going over the ready to eat meals. There's things like these. All you do is pour water in there, let it set for a few, then strain out the water, and you can fry it up. I know it's not typically your ready to eat meal, but if you have a way to cook things, that's one way of doing it. Believe it or not, peanut butter. Now, the thing about peanut butter is you don't want to get the natural stuff, because believe it or not, the cheaper, the sweeter thing in these types of jars and whatnot will last twice as long as the other ones do, just because of the fat content and stuff that they put extra preservatives in this and whatnot. And we have our ramens. Now, you may say, oh, it's not ready to eat, but it is. Nowadays, people are eating, they're too lazy to cook it. Oops. Those are busted up. Nowadays, they're too lazy to actually cook them up. They're eating them raw, which you could do that, but I would suggest you put it in a container, put water in it, and let it set. Even you can cook, not so much cook noodles, but any pasta. If you pour water in there and let it set, eventually it'll break down and not cook the pasta, but bring it back to moisture and whatnot to where you can eat it. You can just put some flavoring on it and chomp, get it down. But those are some things that you can get for ready-to-eat meals. I know there's a lot more. That's why I want to hear from you guys and let me know what your ready-to-eat meals are. Because near future, you may not have power. You may not have heat to cook things. There's cooking outside, which everybody should do. I'm not talking about your barbecue grill. I'm talking about an actual fire. A lot of times you see people, when they cook, they'll cook right over the flame. That's not cooking. That's burning the outside of your food. Actual cooking on a fire is using the coals that have already been burnt. And that creates more heat and everything, and it actually cooks your food, not burn the outside of it. That's one of the things that irritates me when I see people cooking outdoors. They get their fire going and put the grill on, and then just flames going up and burning the outside of the food instead of cooking it. It does get done, but if you learn the difference between cooking on coals and cooking on the fire, it's a big difference. There's camping stoves and things like that, but everybody should learn how to cook from an actual fire. It's like learning how to cook in the kitchen. You should always know those skills. But that's it, guys. I wanted to go over some ready to eat meals. Until next time, God bless.